Tuesday, March 27th, and you're listening to Porch Talk.
Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk.
Always love listening to that opening from Grayson Foster. You can find a link to his website below. And today, Chris and I are going to talk about the Elite Eight and the MLB's opening day. But before we get started, I must say, spring break is right around the corner, and I can't wait to break out my gear for Skirt Chaser Outfitters. Stop fishing, start catching. All right, we're down to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. And it's not the Final Four most, if not all, expected, but we have a Final Four nonetheless. At this point, I'm still experiencing shell shock from the slaughter my bracket took. Chris, speaking of which, last time I checked, you were still dead last in our family bracket. Is that correct?
Yeah, what about it?
I think that is pretty embarrassing that you're losing in our family bracket. And I know that you always go with the gut picks.
Yeah, dude, listen, I always finish last in the bracket. I go with the heart, not the brain. I go with who I want to win, not who will win. When Wofford makes it, I have Wofford win the national title. South Carolina made it last year. I had them win the national title, which actually worked out in my favor last year. And there's always these little teams like NC State. If they make the bracket, I always have them making a run. I love picking Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament, so I go with them. Makes it more fun. So I will not apologize, even though I'm losing to my little sister.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to do the tournament. And I must say that I joined Wofford's Student Bracket Challenge, and I was in first place all the way until we got to the Final Four. And now I'm more than likely going to end up in third place. And the thing that ticks me off the most is that I'm going to be behind Matt Green, who is a fraternity brother of ours, and he knows absolutely nothing about basketball. And, man, that hurts. I'll tell you, man, especially when the prize was $50 cash. I mean, come on. It hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Green, I love you, buddy. You don't know the difference between a basketball and a baseball bat. So that stings there, Brendan.
All right, well, let's get a little more serious here as there were 4 games this weekend. There were 2 games that were not that exciting. Loyola, they took care of Kansas State, and I may or may not have taken a nap during the Nova versus Texas Tech game. So here's some quick takeaways from those games. First, Nova continues to show me why they deserve to win the tournament this year. And Chris, I'm going to have to ask you, what do they say about defense?
They win championships.
That's right. And Nova is going to win a daggone championship this year because of their defense. They play aggressive to the ball. They take away high percentage shots by contesting them almost always. And they're relentless in the 40 minutes that they play. And finally, they box the hell out. That's all I could ask for in my defense. And in my opinion, defense is nothing but hustle. And I'll tell you what, these guys freaking hustle. And for Loyola, the only thing I can say is that this is the first game I didn't obviously see divine intervention. The first round, they won 64-62 against Miami. In the second round, they beat Tennessee 63-62. And even in the Sweet 16, they barely beat Nevada 69-68. However, number 11 Loyola won handily 78-62 against Kansas State this past weekend. But now they have to face Michigan. And this might be where they meet their match. Because honestly, Michigan is just physically stronger and significantly taller than Loyola. So Loyola's going to have to make their shots because I don't see them crashing the boards in this game. And look for, he's a German, look for Mortez Wagner.
No. Mortez Wagner.
There it is. Mortez Wagner from Michigan to dominate the inside and force Loyola to crash in the paint. And if that happens, then I doubt the Wolverines will miss much from the outside either. So I think that Michigan has a pretty good matchup against Loyola, but they've always managed to come out and win against highly unlikely games. So I'm really excited about that matchup. And now we're going to talk about the most exciting game of the Elite Eight, possibly the closest game of the tournament. Kansas topped Duke in overtime, 85-81.
Praise the Lord.
It was a great game. And the hero of the day for the Jayhawks had to be Malik Newman. This guard was everywhere. He scored 32 points, had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals in 44 minutes of play. That's unreal to me. And the most impressive thing he did, however, was shut Grayson Allen down. He shut him down. He only went for 3 for 13. If you look at the last play of the regulation, Grayson Allen did his best to shake off Newman, and he shot up a highly contested mid-range jumper, and that ball rattled around the rim, not once, not twice, not even thrice, but 5 times before rimming out. And say what you will about Grayson Allen, and trust me, I have my opinions about the guy more than anyone else.
No.
But I mean, I really couldn't help but feel sorry for the guy.
No.
I mean, listen,
No, there's no way that
man
man deserves everything that's coming to him.
But think about it. It's a senior year with a chance to win it all for his team.
And I was happy.
Out with one of the unluckiest shots I've ever seen.
And I was very happy.
I'll tell you, man. I would not wish that upon my worst enemy.
I would, and my worst enemy is Grayson Allen, and it happened. I'm very happy.
All right, well, I mean, that was probably one of the unluckiest shots I've ever seen, or the luckiest if you're Kansas. And so now we're looking at, Kansas versus Villanova and Loyola versus Michigan in the Final Four. And I'll tell you what, man, we're looking at some really good basketball here. And I know that basketball is wrapping up.
Well, hey, who do you have winning the ship?
I still got Villanova.
No,
I mean,
Sister Jean all the way. Loyola Chicago.
Okay.
They're on a mission from God.
Sounds like the Blues Brothers right there. But I'll tell you, man, I really like Villanova. They just really hustle on defense. They get open. They make smart passes. They play unselfish basketball. And so I mean, for me, there's no way I could go against Villanova. I've been with Villanova since the start of this game, since the start of the tournament, and I'm with Villanova till the end.
Hey, more power to you. You're probably making the smarter decision, but like I said, I go with the heart. I go with the gut, and Sister Jean's got it. All 98 years of her, or whatever, however old she is.
Well, I mean, we should be in some really good basketball. And I know that basketball is going to wrap up soon, and the weather's getting a little bit warmer. And I know you can't wait to talk about some MLB baseball here. All right. So what do you got here?
Yeah, let's dive into things. This year, for the casual fan, you're going to be a lot more interested, especially later in the season, in this MLB season. All the big-time talent are in the big-time markets with the big-time teams. Yankees are going to be stacked. Red Sox are stacked. Nationals are stacked. The Cubs have a lot of talent. A lot of talent out in L.A., but between the Dodgers and the Angels. Texas, especially Houston, has some talent. So I think it's going to be a fun season, even for the casual fan, which I know has been pretty tough. The MLB's been losing fans throughout the year, or throughout the past couple decades. Let's briefly touch on opening day for Major League Baseball, which is Thursday, March 29th. I'm going to rip through my thoughts and preview what I think should be a fun season. I'm going to give my division winners, and I'm going to give my World Series champion. You ready?
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Starting the National League, I got the Nationals winning the NL East. The Mets have a shot to have a monster win. They had a shot at a monster winner, but instead settled for a decent offseason. They have a decent rotation. I think they'll make a run. The Phillies had a decent winner, but they are still light years behind the Nationals. Give me the Nationals in the East. In the Central, this hurts me to say, but I think the Cubs are still too good for anyone to catch them, even with Arrieta now with the Phillies. The Brewers had a good winner. They have probably the second best lineup in batting lineup in the Central. The Cardinals are still the Cardinals, so you can't count them out. But they will be competing for that second wild card spot if they compete at all. The Pirates offloaded some monster contracts by they had to get rid of some. It was either make one more run at 2018 or kind of concede this year and go for 2019, 2020. So that's what they did.
They always do that, though. Yeah. They always concede.
At first, I was super upset with it, but the moves that they made it wasn't like sell the farm and get a bunch of prospects in return. They did get a couple pieces that if they can make a couple more moves in the offseason next year, in the winter next year, or have a couple of prospects come up and play solid in 2019, 2020, I think they'll be fine. Want to keep my eye on the young kids this year. Marte, Polanco, Bell, Tyon, the pitching rotation. They did pick up Dickerson, who's an all-star for the Rays, and he should fit in nice with the outfield. But I think the Pirates are setting it more for 2019 and 2020 than for this year. But the Pirates are going to find it tough to compete in the NL Central this year. NL West, I have the Dodgers, but the Diamondbacks are there too. Kershaw and company are too much. Bellinger, Turner, all those guys, all those talented guys that they have in their lineup, they win the West. In the AL, the East will be loaded for the first time in a while, it feels like. But the race will come down to the Yankees and the Red Sox, as it should, with the Yankees winning the division and the Red Sox getting the top wild card spot. But this thing's going to go into September. This is going to be a great race to watch, I think. The Central,
and I love watching Yankees Red Sox, one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports, and having these two teams back in swing condition. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, that's the thing is that for the past couple of years, it's not been the same rivalry. For the longest time, when the curse was going on in Boston, it was the just typical big brother, little brother. The Yankees were obsessed with just stomping on the Red Sox, crushing their dreams. The Red Sox hated the Yankees for all the success that they had and for the lack of success that the Red Sox had. And then once the Red Sox won a couple of World Series, it kind of felt like with the curse being over, the rivalry had died a little bit. Maybe with the Yankees
I'm thinking of Big Papi real quick. This is my effing city. I love that.
Well, I mean, for the longest time with Big Papi there, when the run that they had, the Yankees were little brother have been the little brother in the 21st century. So now that they made some offseason moves, maybe this rivalry will be back. Quickly, I'll finish out the AL and then we'll hit my World Series. Central going to be strong this year. Twins will be real contenders, but the Indians win it all. Been one of the best teams in the AL, and nobody talks about the Indians, but they've been one of the best teams in the AL these past couple years. In the West, the Angels keep it interesting. During the dog days of summer, reigning World Series champions, Houston Astros win the Central. All right, World Series pick. I think the sexy pick is to go with either Red Sox or Yankees to win the World Series, and especially after the winners they had with the off seasons they've had. Obviously, with the Yankees adding Stanton to the lineup to join Sanchez, Gregorius, Judge, and then the Red Sox adding J.D. Martinez. Chris Sale's going to have to rival Kershaw in terms of best pitcher in the game for the Red Sox to win the AL pennant this year. In the NL, the Nationals and the Cubs, I can't pick them because I think a lot of baseball is mental, and they've choked for the past couple of years, especially the Nationals these past few years. So the Nationals, I think they have something wrong with them. Half their roster plays scared in the big moments in October. So unfortunately, I have to go with the Cubs winning the NL pennant. Maybe the Cards can make a run, or maybe dark horse, maybe the Brewers or something. But the Cubs go back to the World Series and face the Houston Astros. I think the Astros beat out the two giants in the AL East. I think they go back to the World Series, and I think they repeat Correa, Altuve. I think Garrett Cole coming from the Pirates, I think he's going to have a monster year. He might be the difference. So they already have a strong rotation, but I think he'll just add even that much to it. So I had the Houston Astros winning it again.
And I hate to say it, and it hurts me to say this, but I feel like this is the curse of the Pirates. I feel like sometimes when there's really good players in Pittsburgh, every time that they leave, they have a phenomenal breakout season. So,
I mean Jose Bautista, he couldn't hit. He was hitting like in the 180s or the 200s in batting average, and I mean it was just horrific. Trade him to the Blue Jays. He's one of the best power hitters in baseball for a few years.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if McCutchen also had another breakout year too, because I mean I feel like he was also like he's getting older, but also he is one of those guys where he's good enough to where I think he just needs a little revival, something a little kickstart his career again, and I think that he's going to have a monster year as well.
Yeah, I think the Giants had a weird winner, made a couple good moves, had a couple head scratching moves, but McCutchen, great pickup. I think he'll have a solid year for the Giants.
All right, well, that wraps up this episode of Porch Talk. Chris, really enjoyed talking to you. Until next time.